Hello, Erin here. Happy New Year, even though the year hasn't seemed to have gotten started on a very happy note. I welcome you to this yoga practice to acknowledge where you're at and how you're feeling about these times. Um, the first part of yoga, or the sometimes the most challenging part of the yoga practice, is just showing up. So thank you for being here. That's kind of the initial step, is your arrival. So thank you for showing up today. I'd like to kind of get back to basics as we start in the new year. Getting back to basics of what yoga means to you. The practice of yoga has a variety of different meanings, and can have a specific, individual meaning for you. So I'll just kind of start this class out with a little question of what yoga means to you. How did you start your yoga practice, whether you're um, a beginner yoga practitioner or have been practicing for years? Just thinking about, what brought you to the practice. Was it meditation? Was it the asana, the physical practice? Was it reading about yoga in a book somewhere, maybe starting with the Yoga Sutras? Just kind of a little personal inquiry. How did you start your yoga practice? Maybe a video online. And just kind of acknowledging that for yourself. I personally started my yoga journey in a physical yoga practice, the asana practice, which I think is pretty common for people living in the West. Um, I started actually using a yoga video when I was in high school, and just was interested in the physical component of yoga for a long time, and have slowly started to, throughout the past, 15 years or so, have um, my interests have shifted. So sometimes I'm more interested in the meditation. Sometimes I find myself really practicing a lot of pranayama or breath work. And other times I just like reading about yoga. And today I'd actually like to share a little snippet from the book, The Heart of Yoga by Desikachar. And there he talks about yoga in this sense that is kind of broad, like a universal understanding of yoga. And I'll just share what I wrote down that I found to be particularly interesting, and kind of a nice way to think about yoga. He says, there are many possible ways of understanding the meaning of the word yoga. Yoga has its roots in Indian thought, but its content is universal because it is about the means by which we can make the changes we desire in our lives. He goes on to say, the actual practice of yoga takes each person in a different direction. The practice of yoga only requires us to act and to be attentive to our actions. We begin where we are and how we are, and whatever happens, happens. So, this is my invitation to you today to allow yoga to be an opportunity to change, to be an opportunity to reflect, to tune inward, and act as this reminder of who we are, what path we're on. This will be different for everybody, and I just wanted to kind of open that up as an invitation to personalize your practice. As usual, everything that I offer is optional, so feel free to do what you'd like and not do what you'd like as well. We'll begin in our chair, and I'm going to pop back in my chair right now. So if you want to set yourself up in a chair, Or honestly, sitting on the ground would be fine as well. So know that that is, if you prefer to be on sitting on the ground, that's okay. And if you are on the ground, you might cross your legs or maybe like kneeling or even sitting with the legs extended. Just know that there's a variety of options. It's generally to begin, I like to start with a little bit of centering, and often sitting up tall is a nice way to kind of bring myself into the practice, welcome myself to the practice, like really arriving in my body. So sitting up tall, and if that practice or that concept of arriving looks different for you than for me, please adjust appropriately. Adjust for you. Sitting up tall, if that's where you're going, if you're following my lead on that, just letting the shoulders soften away from the ears. Gently blinking your eyes closed or finding a soft gaze at something that's in your space, out in front of you. If your eyes are closed, you might bring awareness to different colors that might be popping up specifically for you. Maybe shapes behind the eyelids. If your eyes are closed, notice, or if your eyes are open, excuse me, notice where your gaze falls. Where do you naturally bring your gaze? What are you looking at? Are your eyes traveling from object to object, or maybe you fixed on one thing? Notice the lower part of your body getting a little bit heavier. Maybe even pressing your feet into the ground if your feet are flat on the earth, or it's getting heavier in the pelvis, the hip area softening. Bringing attention or awareness to sensations moving through your body. Little tingling, or maybe you even notice, the sensation of how your body meets the surface that it's touching. Allow your awareness to move to your breath. No need to change it or adjust it unless you want to. Just noticing your breath moving through your body. Pulling air in and releasing air out. Option to slow down the breath a little if you'd like. And I'll invite you to practice samavriti breath, or equal breath, equal part breath, equal fluctuations. So that might look like inhaling for 4 counts and exhaling for 4 counts. Counting the breath can be a wonderful way to kind of just slow everything down and bring your awareness into the present moment, which is another meaning of yoga. It's attention to the present moment. Take 2 more slow rounds of breath if you're moving through that breathing practice, samavriti. Equal inhale and equal exhale. Scanning the body for any areas of tension, and seeing if you can soften just a little bit more. And we soften while staying upright. So we find this kind of balance of effort and ease, or alert and at ease at the same time. And feel free to keep that slow going breath as we move through the practice today. As we bring the chin down towards the chest, you might let a big breath out of the mouth. And then roll your ear over to one shoulder. You might choose to keep the eyes closed for today's practice, kind of closing off one of your senses as a means of tuning inward or honing your attention on your other senses. Sensation in your body as we move in different shapes. Sounds around you. On your next exhale, let's bring the head back through the center and roll it to the other side. Just a couple breaths here, and feel free to find a little bit of movement. You'll hear me say that quite a bit through today's practice, this idea of just like moving when you want to. If it feels like you need a little bit of a shakeout or like a little extra movement somewhere to soften or release, by all means, please take that. All right, we gently come back through the center. Let the head be heavy so the back of the neck can lengthen. And then inhale your head back up through the center. Let's bring the left hand down next to you. So hand can just rest at the side. So it's the fingertips are hanging at your side, or hold on to the side of your chair. That's fine too. Let's drop the ear over to the shoulder again. So left hand is down, right ear to right shoulder. And then option to flex your hand. Flex your hand and spread your fingers. Kind of sensing that extra stretch through the outer edge of the neck, maybe into the shoulder, the chest even, or the arm. On your next inhale, feel free to lift your hand up towards your shoulder. So it just comes to shoulder height. And exhale, bring your hand back down. Kind of a strange sensation for me here. Just kind of noticing what you experience. Inhale, right back up. And exhale down. Let's do one more round of that. Inhale, lifting the arm up to shoulder height. And exhale, bring it back down. And gently bringing the head back up through the center. Let your hand rest on your leg and pause. Noticing sounds, sensations of this moment. And gently bringing your left ear over towards your left shoulder as your right hand comes down. And just take your time here. You might just hang out here. This can feel really nice. Letting the arm drape to your side and your ear heavy to the shoulder. If you'd like, flex the fingers. And on your inhale, lift your hand up. Shoulder height. Exhale, come down. You might not come all the way up to shoulder height either. That's fine. It's lifting up till you feel sensation. Inhale. And exhale down. One more. Inhale, arm up. Exhale, bring it down. Head back to center. Let's release the hand to rest on the leg and pause. Breathing in. Breathing out. Good. Next inhale, press your feet down and sweep your arms up. Hands come together above the head and then slide the hands through heart center, pressing the hands together. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Meeting in the middle, press the hands together, come down. Once more, inhale, arms up. Lengthen up through the armpits. And exhale, hands together at heart center. Let's pause here for a couple of breaths. So Anjali Mudra, we have the palms pressing together, the chest lifting towards the thumbs. And I like to imagine like the bones of my hands were pressing together here. It just kind of adds a little extra dimension of connection. Broadening across the collarbones, lifting up through the armpits. Here for another breath in. Release the mudra, your hand gesture, releasing hands back down. Let's sweep the arms up. Inhale. This time we're going to fold over the legs. Exhale. So just folding forward any amount. So hands might come to the tops of the legs. Forearms can come down. Or maybe you reach for the ground. So just know there's options for where you go here. Notice where you feel sensation, if any. And maybe imagine your breath moving through that space where you feel sensation. If you are seated on the ground, please know that you can be folding over your crossed legs. You can be folding over extended legs. Or maybe you're in a bound angle type shape with the feet together and the knees wide. So know there's options. A forward fold helps to release the low back. It creates this inward awareness. You're turning in, tuning in. In a pose of introspection. Here for another breath or two, just noticing where you're at, what's going on here for you. Gently start to come up whenever you're ready. Hands can come to the legs, rise up. Sitting up tall again, we draw the navel a little bit back towards the spine. Let the shoulders soften away from the ears. Let's bring the right arm up and overhead. Bend the elbow so the hand falls behind the head or behind your neck, or maybe even onto your upper back. Take your opposite hand, hug your arm in towards your ear. So we're just hugging the arm in a little bit. And if having your arm up like that doesn't feel right for you, just squeeze your arm in. Just actively bring the arm in towards your head. Another option would be to bring your left hand up the middle of your back and clasp your hands behind you. That's an option. I'm just going to turn around and show that real quick. Or even using your shirt as a little prop can be nice here. So something to connect your hands. So wherever you are breathing, maybe imagine like you're leaning back into your lifted arm, creating this extra length in the back, sitting up tall. Breathing in. As you exhale, release the pose. Just letting the hands come down to your sides. And then right away, reach that same arm up. Right arm reaches up. Left hand to your chair. Reach up through the fingertips here and then lean over the chair or the ground if you're seated on the ground. Side body stretch. Good, everybody. Let's come back up through the center when you're ready. If that feels really good, feel free to hang out longer. And the hand down. Pausing here, inhale. And exhale. Left arm reaches up. When you are ready, let's bend the elbow. Hand falls behind the head, neck, or back. And then hug your arm in. Squeeze your arm in. Or clasp behind you. These are all options. Finding one that works for you. And breathing. Inhale. Exhale, slowly unravel, come out of the pose. Stretch that same arm back up. Inhale the left arm up, right hand to your chair or ground. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale, lean over. Any amount, leaning over, curling the heart open. Press the feet down to come back up through the center. Let your hand come down. Take a big breath in. And out. Good. Stretch your fingertips out into a T. So let's kind of start to build some strength in the shoulders. Not that we haven't done that already, but particularly having the arms outstretched, you'll start to feel something in the shoulders. Maybe. I always do. A little bit of heat building in that area. Maybe it starts to feel difficult to keep the arms lifted. If that's the case, think about being supported by the space around you, kind of keeping you lifted, keeping you light, and by all means, feel free to bring the arms down at any time. Stretching through the fingertips, broad across the collarbones, navel to spine. Let's take another breath in here. And as you exhale, cross the arms in front of the chest. Doesn't matter which arm is on the top. Just kind of walking the hands onto the shoulders or your back. And this is kind of like a self-hug and also a great way to make some space in the upper back. So we're thinking about pulling the elbows away from the body. And you might even imagine your breath, your next inhale, traveling all the way up between your shoulder blades. And as you exhale, the breath travels all the way down to the weight of your tailbone, re-rooting you onto the ground, your chair, the earth. One more inhale. Exhale. Slowly unravel the arms, stretch them out. And we'll do this another time with the cross in the opposite way. So just switching your cross, and if you've forgotten, maybe once you get into the shape, you'll know. You'll know if it's the right, if you've done that side or not. And if not, that's okay. Just breathing, finding this shape of your arms across the chest, the elbows gently pull away. And just noticing how your breath flows up, expands, and flows down, releases, roots. Another breath in. And out. Let's release the arms, stretch them out one more time. Let's hold here with an option to take some shoulder circles. So some, like you're painting circles with your fingertips. Making those circles bigger and bigger with each round. And by all means, feel free to bring your hands onto your shoulders. That can feel nice, a little relief. And then maybe you make that rotation the opposite direction, circling in the other direction, taking those circles smaller and smaller with each round. Hands can be outstretched or on your shoulders. Breathing either way. All right. Tiny circles with the fingertips or elbows. One more inhale and float the hands down nice and slow. You might notice specific sensation in your hands, like a little vibration or other kind of sensation. Let's press the feet down and sweep the arms up. Take a gentle twist to one side. So hand to opposite knee and the other hand behind you as you look over the shoulder. The feet stay rooted. Your navel continues to draw back towards your spine. Sometimes I find that can be a helpful tool for kind of engaging into the twist a little bit further, if that's what you're going for. On your next inhale, come back up through the center and sweep your arms up. And twist to the other side. Breath is steady, lengthening on your inhale. Exhale, softening, twisting, connecting. Another breath in. And exhale. And come back through the center. Notice your feet on the ground, spreading the toes wide. Bring the hands to the tops of the legs, and you might even press your hands down a little bit, kind of like you're purposefully grounding your feet. And then let's take this into some spinal movement. So we're rooted in the hips, rooted in the feet. Press the hands into the legs and then arch your back. So think about the heart shining forward, maybe even lifting up towards the ceiling a little bit. Look up. And as you exhale, press the spine in the opposite direction, arching in the other direction, rounding. Chin to chest. And then inhale to your cow pose. We arch the back, look up, broaden across the collarbones. And exhale, round, navel to spine, chin to chest, like a beach ball coming in towards the belly. Inhale, arch the back, just finding your flow. Keep going. You can move at your pace, might not be the same as mine. Moving with your breath. Inhale, arching, looking up. Exhale, rounding. Taking about 2 more rounds. And we'll meet back in the center. So eventually coming into your upright seated position again. You sit up tall. Let the shoulders soften away from the ears. And I'll invite you to start moving towards Shavasana, or our final resting shape. And that can look how you want it to. So you can stay in your chair, you can lie down on the ground, you can prop yourself up with some props. I'm going to show a little way to kind of just get a little comfier in the chair. So if you have a blanket, you can make your blanket so it's kind of like in a little, like a long roll. You can see I'm sort of just rolling the blanket up long ways, and it doesn't need to be perfect. And just wrap it over your neck, around your neck, like it's a little scarf. Okay, and I'm gonna hip walk my way towards the back of the chair. And then once I'm here, I'm gonna kind of tuck tuck the blanket back and under my armpits so I can let my arms just kind of rest on my legs, or they can rest across the body, across the chest, whatever feels best for you. Just kind of finding a place that's comfy. And on these cold days, this extra kind of layer of a little scarf or blanket around you might feel cozy and comfortable too. I find it to be really helpful for kind of letting the head relax, the neck relax a little more. Wherever you are, I'd recommend uncrossing your legs and noticing your breath. Just taking a moment again to check in with your breathing. How does your breath sound? What pace is your breath moving? How does your breath feel? I'll be quiet for the next minute or so. Please know that I'm still here. Shavasana, or corpse pose, is what it's known as, is an opportunity to allow the practice to settle in. It's kind of acts as this pause to reflect and soak in the practice that we've just done, we've just engaged in. Feel free to find a meditation practice that you enjoy, or just simply rest. Feel free to rest for longer. When you feel ready, you can gently start to wake back up with little movements, maybe rolling your ankles or wrists, moving the fingers and toes. Eventually coming back into your upright position if you're ready for that. Sitting up tall, alert and at ease at the same time if possible. And present. Feel free to bring the palms together in the front of your heart again for Anjali Mudra. Gathering in the strength, courage, or whatever intention you'd like into your heart on your next inhale. And exhale. Rooting, grounding, letting go. Thank you for sharing in this practice today. Hope to see you all soon. Take care. And thank you.